So we start with the chapter work and energy. I'll do a verbal this thing. You just try to follow. Okay, fine. So the first thing is work. Okay. So we have all studied what is work. Okay, when a body is stationary and I apply force. Okay. So Ali is not able to log in fine. And I apply force and the body moves. Right. So if I apply force and the body remains stationary, we say that no work has been done. Okay, because for work to be done, it is very necessary that displacement has to take place. If there is no displacement, then there will be no work done, right? So here we will say that work is done when the force is applied on the body and displacement takes place, right? Now, what is the formula for work? So,
work is equal to force into displacement.
Yes, very good. So the formula, so the learning objectives, this time we are going to do work, power and energy. Okay, we are going to do work, we will see what is power and we'll see what is energy. So work is done when a force is applied and the body moves in the direction of that particular force. Okay, then we say that the work is done. And the formula for work done, force into the distance or displacement. Okay, so we usually use the symbol S for displacement, right? And what will be the unit of work? You can say Newton meter or you can say joule. The unit that we use basically for the work done is always joule. Okay, SI unit of work is joule. Now, I start with two factors on which work done depends. It depends upon the magnitude of force applied and the displacement produced by the force. Okay, so more is the force, more will be the work done. Again, more is the displacement, then more will be the work done. Now, here we are talking of basically the force being applied in one direction and the body also moving along the same direction. Okay, but there are certain cases related to this. So let us see a few cases related to the work done. Okay, so let's see the next slide. Now, as you can see, there is a block. Let us say this is a small toy car. Okay, where you can see the mouse cursor moving. This is a small toy car. Okay, and there is a child. There is a string attached and the child is pulling. So this is the direction of force. He is applying force, he is pulling the string. Now when this is the direction of force, okay, the body should also move in the same direction, right? If this is the direction, then the body should also move here. But we find that when the child is pulling the string, okay, the car is moving along this direction. It's moving horizontal, straight, right? So this is the direction of force and this is the direction of displacement. Displacement is horizontal. Okay, so in this case, the first case, what happens is that the direction is not along, the direction of displacement is not along the direction of force. So we see that there is one angle between them and we name that angle as theta, right? So the work done is FD, here this thing says D, we say take it as S, Fs cos theta. And what is theta? Theta will be any angle. If the angle is 30 degrees, then F into S into cos 30. If the angle is 60 degrees, then F into S into cos 60. Okay, so you find out what is cos 60 and then you multiply it and that will be the work done.
I have one doubt.
Yeah, ask.
Ma'am, what is the what is the hypotenuse? What does that represent?
Hypotenuse, we are not talking of any right angle triangle.
No, but
okay?
like in angle.
Yeah, when you have when you are doing the tangent, this thing trigonometry, you have hypotenuse upon base and those formulas. But here we don't have to look at anything. Here you just see that it represents a component of force. Okay, but that is not necessary. What you have to know as your this thing is you just have to know cos theta, Fs cos theta. You just have to find that out. See, I'll show you the next slide. Okay. Here again, so now we again redefine the amount of work. We we define it as it is magnitude of force, magnitude of displacement, and the angle between force and displacement. Okay, now Aditya, see how we are going to find this out. Now, the first case, we don't have to bother about the this thing, hypotenuse. You just have to look at this. See, displacement is in the direction of force. Okay, the first case that we are always seeing, there is a football stationary on the ground. I apply force. Okay, the force is in whatever direction. Okay, the football moves in that direction. So in that case, the force and the displacement, they are along the same line. So theta is equal to 0. Okay, this is the case where work done is maximum. Children, when theta equal to 0, this is the case where work done is maximum. So what is the formula? W is F into S cos theta, right? So Fs cos 0, right? But you all know that cos 0 is 1. So W will be F into S, right? So what is the example now? See, we have to only see the main concepts, right? What is the example over here? So during free fall, okay, there is a ball or there is an object that is coming towards the earth, right? And who is pulling it towards the earth? The force of gravity. The force of gravity is pulling it towards the earth. That means the direction of force and the direction of motion of that ball, both are in the same direction, right? So in this case, there is no angle. The angle between both is 0, right? So here, the work done is F into S, right? Fs, correct? And here, work done is F into S, and this is the maximum work. Whenever the displacement is in the direction of force, we say that the work done is maximum. That's all. Now, another case. You take the second case where the displacement is normal to the direction of force, right? Now, in the previous case, you can also, your book has given one more example that there is a coolie. He is trying to lift the load in the upward direction. So, he is applying force in the upward direction. The load is also moving in the upward direction, same direction. So, the coolie is doing positive work. Okay, this is called positive work. And the force and the displacement are in the same direction, right? In this case. Now, look at the second case. The second case is displacement is normal, okay, to the direction of force. So, theta equal to 90. So, here you can see one picture that I have made, okay, over here, right? Now, here the satellite is moving around the earth. Now, the force of gravity, you can imagine that the earth is in the center. The force of gravity is towards this side and the direction of motion is exactly at right angle. At any point in time, the direction of motion of the satellite will always be at right angle to that particular force. So, the force and the displacement in this case, they are at right angles. So, we will say that theta is 90. So, now W equal to Fs cos theta. Sorry, here it is cos 90. But since cos 90 is 0, so W will be equal to 0. Okay, because cos 90 is 0. And which is the best example? So whenever you are asked the examples, children, please quote the examples that I am giving. So work done by the force of gravity on a satellite revolving around it. So when do we say that the work done is 0? We will say work done is 0 in two cases. First case, the direction of force and the direction of displacement are perpendicular to each other. Then in that case, we will say work done is 0, and that is the work done by the force of gravity on the satellite. Give this example. If you are asked, you can just draw the diagram, draw a circle, draw the force. This we have discussed even in 8th standard. Okay, draw the force towards the center and the direction of the satellite as perpendicular. If I ask another example, you can see that when a plane is going straight, okay, a plane is moving, an aeroplane is moving, right? And the force of gravity is trying to pull it down. Now, even in this case, the work done, okay, is supposed to be 0 by work done by whom? Not the work done by the plane, but work done by the force of gravity. Okay, so if a plane is moving, okay, the force of gravity is trying to pull it down. It is going straight. So the angle between the two is 90 degrees. So the work done by the force of gravity in this case is 0, right? So this is a second special case where theta is 90 between the direction of force and the direction of displacement.
Ma'am,
Yes.
but here in the book it says that if displacement is in the direction of force, theta is equal to 0 degrees.
Yeah. So here it is 90. I said no, both are at 90 degrees. Theta is, when theta is in the direction, what did you say? Again, repeat, Aditya, what it says?
If the displacement is in the direction of force, theta is equal to 0.
Yeah, theta is 0. So cos 0 is 1. Okay. So if cos 0 is 1, that means the work done is F into S. Right? So that is what I said in the previous slide. What was the previous slide? See the previous slide. This is what I said here. See, displacement it is in the direction of force, theta equal to 0. Same thing I said. So W equal to Fs cos 0. But cos 0 is 1. So W is F into S. And here, theta is 90 because it is perpendicular. But cos 90 is 0.
Yeah.
So W equal to Fs cos 90. Here, by mistake, I've written 0. It's cos 90. So work done is 0. Followed or no, Aditya? Yes, Mariam.
Ma'am, if the theta is 90, so the work done is 0, but the aeroplane still moves. So how is it 0?
Work done, see, that is what I said. Work done by the force of gravity is 0. Who is doing 0 work? Mariam? The force of gravity. That is doing 0 work. Why? Because it is trying to pull it down, but the aeroplane is going perpendicular, right? Are you following? So the work done by the force of gravity is 0. Are you understanding? Even your book says one example. A coolie is carrying a, let us say, a suitcase on the head and he's going horizontal, right? So the suitcase is having what kind of motion? Horizontal motion, right? This is what your book gives, the example. Now the gravity wants to pull the suitcase down, right? Gravity wants to pull all objects down. But is the suitcase coming down? Is it moving in the direction of gravity? No, the force of gravitational force wants to pull it down. But because the coolie is walking horizontal, okay, he's walking straight, okay, the luggage on the head is going in a straight direction. So that is also an example of 0 work. Followed? So just
Yes,
understand force and displacement, they are 90 degrees perpendicular to each other, then it is 0 work. Another case of 0 work, when there is no displacement at all. Okay, F work done is F into S. Let us say the body is stationary, right? You're trying to push a wall. Remember these kind of examples used to come. Okay, a person is trying to push a wall. He is getting tired at the end of it. But is he doing any work? No, right? Because there is absolutely no displacement of the object, right? So in this case also, we will say that the work done is 0. Now, the third case. Displacement is opposite to the direction of force. Now, you can understand force is being applied and displacement is exactly in the opposite direction. So, you can understand one arrow is this side, the displacement is on this side. So, what is the angle? 180. So, theta is 180, right? So, what will be work done? Work done will be Fs cos theta or Fs cos 180. But we know that cos 180 is -1, right? So work will be equal to F into S into -1. So that is called negative work done. So whenever the direction of displacement is opposite to the direction of force, okay, we can say that the work done is negative. Now, what is the example? See, a very good example. Just give these simple examples. Okay, whenever they ask you for negative work, they'll just ask you negative work. Or when theta is 180, give the special case. Okay, so you can just give this example. A ball is thrown upwards. The ball is going upwards. Work done by the force of gravity on the ball is negative. Okay, so the ball is going upwards. The gravity is trying to pull the ball down, right? But the ball is going in exactly opposite direction. The ball is moving in exactly opposite direction. So in this case, the work done by the force of gravity on the ball is considered to be negative. Okay. One more example. Does anybody know any other example? Can anybody give me an example of negative work? I think in 8th standard, I've given you many examples when we were doing work and energy. Any one example I want of negative work done. Who is doing negative work? Here I said force of gravity is doing negative work when I throw the ball up. Okay, force of gravity is doing negative work because the ball is going in exactly opposite direction. It is trying to pull it down. Give me another example of negative work.
Sliding something on a floor, so the works against friction.
Yes, excellent. Friction, very good. So who is doing negative work? Friction is doing negative work. When a ball is rolling, okay, what is friction trying to do? Friction is acting in the opposite direction. It is also a force. See, friction is also a force. So it is all acting in the opposite direction and it is acting on the ball. So in reality, if friction has to do positive work, the ball has to start moving backwards, right? Because friction is acting in the opposite direction. But the ball, in spite of the frictional force acting on it, it keeps moving forward. Though the speed decreases due to friction, but still the motion of the ball is exactly opposite to the motion of, to the direction of the frictional force, right? So in this case also, we will say that friction is doing negative work. Did you follow?
Does it work for tension force also?
Yeah,
Ma'am.
tension also, yes, tension, yes, yes. The force of tension, yes,
Theta is
yes.
90 degrees.
Yes,
The force will be zero, no?
what?
When the theta is 90 degrees, force will be zero.
Theta is in this case, Sid, when we are discussing this case where a ball is rolling on the ground and frictional force is opposite direction, theta is not 90, theta is 180. They both are on the same line. One arrow is on left hand side, the other arrow is on the right hand side. So that angle is 180. It is not 90. Okay. So it is cos 180, not 90. Fine. So here, when the ball is thrown upwards, work done by the force of gravity is negative. Correct? Okay, let's go further. Now, many times, okay, this is just a small concept. Many times, there is a variable force. When we say a force is acting, most of the time we say a force of 5 Newton is acting. So that is a constant force, right? But if it is a variable force, if the force is changing, then if I want to find the work done, then you just have to plot a graph. See, this is a graph. Force is taken on the y-axis, work is taken on, the displacement is taken on the x-axis. I plot a graph, okay, force and displacement. Whatever is the graph, just find the area below the graph. That will give you work. Okay, so if there is a variable force, in case you ask the question, if there is a variable force, then how do you find the work done? Just find the area below the graph. And to show it, I've shown this graph where the force is constant. See, there is a force of 5 Newton which is acting. Okay, now if there is a constant force, how do we find work done? Force multiplied by the displacement or force multiplied by distance. Now, if this is a constant force, so this is the graph. The force of 5 Newton is acting. The body is moving by a particular distance. Distance 1 meter, 2 meter, the body is moving, right? Now, if I find this area below the graph, what is the answer? Length into breadth. What is the length? Let us say this is the breadth, 5 meter, and let us say this is the length, 10 or whatever the distance the ball has moved. So F into D. Simple, the same formula I got. So if there is a variable force, then you just find the area below the graph, just in case if there is a variable force. Okay, fine. So if there is a variable force, you can just be asked, how do I find, in case of a variable force, how do you find work done? So you can just write, plot a graph and find the area. You will not be asked to plot the graph. Yes. Ask.
In the first graph, it is an irregular shape. So how will we find the
Yeah,
area?
so that is what I'm saying. You will not be asked to find the area. I have just given an example. Okay, you will not be asked, but you just should give only one answer. You may be asked a 1 mark question on this, that when a force is variable, how do you find the work done? So you just say, plot a graph and find the area below the graph. That's all. Okay, understood? Fine.
Yes,
Let's
ma'am.
go ahead now. Now, work done by force of gravity. If I want to calculate the work done by the force of gravity, there is a formula. What is the formula? Now, there is a ball which is at a height of 10 meter. Now, when I release the ball, there is a force of gravity that is acting on the ball and it is bringing it down. So, obviously, it is doing positive work, right? Because the ball is coming down due to the force of gravity. So, what is the work done? So, I have given you the entire scenario, we say work done is force into displacement. But when we are talking, remember the third chapter last year, whenever we were talking about gravitation, the force, we used to say m into g. Okay, F is not m into a. Linear motion, F is m into a. But when you're talking of gravitation, then the force becomes m into small g. What is small g? Acceleration due to gravity. Right now, so g is also acceleration, so F is m into g. And what is s? S is your height. From whatever I release the ball from a height of 10 meter, so the ball has traveled that distance of 10 meter, so that is the height. So in this, I will replace all the things in the equation. So the work done by the force of gravity is nothing but mgh. Okay, and this mgh is your potential energy. Remember your potential, whenever a body goes up, we used to say that the potential energy of the body is mgh, right? So the same thing. So this is the formula. Whenever you have to find the work done by the force of gravity, you will just write work done is m into g into h. Okay. Now let us see units of work. Now this SI unit of work is joule. CGS unit of work, the smaller unit, okay, is erg. Okay. Now this derivation is always asked for 2 marks. It is there in your book also. Page number 23. Page number 23, there is a graph, that graph which I just showed you, work done by a constant force and variable force. Just on the side of the graph, relationship between joule and erg. Please put 2 stars because this is asked in 2 marks. Okay. So what they will ask you, the question, state the relationship between the SI and CGS unit of work. They will not even give you anything. State the relation between SI and CGS unit of work. So you should first write SI unit is joule, CGS unit is erg. Okay. Then how do you write it? 1 joule. See, work done is force into displacement, right? So unit of force, Newton, right? And unit of displacement or distance traveled, meter. So 1 Newton into 1 meter. Now you take the CGS unit of Newton. Newton is dyne. 1 Newton is 10 raised to 5 dyne. And 1 meter is 100 centimeter, right? So when I multiply 10 raised to 5 into 10 raised to 2, it gives you dyne centimeter. And dyne is the unit of
Force.
force. Okay, the smaller unit of force, and centimeter is the smaller unit of length, distance traveled. So that is erg. It will give you force into distance is nothing but work done. So erg is the smaller unit of work done. That is the CGS unit of work done. Okay. So the CGS unit of work done is erg. So this is a very simple derivation asked for 2 marks. Please put 2 stars, 2, 3 stars, and you please learn this derivation. Okay. So the relation between SI and CGS unit of work. Now we come to power. What is power? So we've already learned in the 8th standard also, power is the rate of doing work. Rate of doing work, work done upon time taken. Okay. So what are the units of power? Remember watt, we used to say watt, right? So the unit of power, SI unit of power is watt. The smaller CGS unit of power is erg per second. What is erg? Work done. Work done. Okay. The unit, CGS unit of work done is erg, and for time, it is always second, right? So erg per second. This is a okay. Now there is one more unit of power, horsepower. Remember your bikes and all, okay? They say that it has got so much of horsepower, right? So this is another unit of power, and you please remember how is it related to watt? This equation has to be remembered. 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts. That is very important. Okay. So power, the rate of doing work, formula of power, work done upon time, and the other unit of power is called horsepower, and horsepower is 746 watts. Is this okay? Any question on power? Simple. Now we come to the third concept, Okay, one more concept is there. Relation between power and average speed. Children, this formula is important. You will use it for your numerical C. Just look at the relation. A constant force acts on a body and it displays it by a distance S. So we all know the formula for work done. Work done is F into S. But we have just studied the formula for power. Power is equal to work done upon time, right? So power, so instead of the formula for power, instead of W, what do I write for power? F into S upon T, right? Power is W upon T. So I substitute the formula for work done. So power is equal to F into S upon T. Now what do? I put F on one side and I take T only below S. Okay, only below the distance traveled. Now distance traveled upon time is nothing but your speed, right? So power is equal to F multiplied by speed or average speed, that is V, right? So this is another formula. You will use it in your numericals, okay, when we solve the numericals. So there is a formula for power. Power is equal to force multiplied by speed. Okay, so this is the next formula for power. So Srushti has also joined. Akshat is there.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Yeah, okay, fine. So power is force multiplied by speed. Another formula for power. Okay. When you do the numericals, you will feel better. Okay, because now you are feeling that too many concepts, but it's not a very difficult thing. Okay, very easy. Just understand the concepts and learn the main concepts. That is what the board asks for. Now we come to energy. What is energy? The capacity of a body to do work. Okay, so I used to tell you that there is a brick on the ground. The brick cannot do any work. I do some work on the brick by carrying the brick onto the second floor, right? I take the brick to the second floor. Now the brick has got energy because I have carried it. Okay, it has got potential energy. And now when I release the brick from the second floor, it can fall on something and it can break it or do whatever. So that is work done. So the capacity of a body to do work is called energy. Now, there are many units of energy. Please pay attention. First unit of energy, watt hour. Okay. See, how do I get this unit? Work done is power. What is power? Power is work done upon time, right? Right? Power is equal to work done upon time. Work and energy are one and the same. Now, if I try to see the formula for work done, it will be power multiplied by time. Work done is power upon time. So if I see the formula for work done, it will be power multiplied by time, right? So same is the formula for energy, power multiplied by time. So the unit, SI unit of power, I'm watt and time. Okay, so that is the first unit of energy, watt hour. What is the definition? Energy spent by a source of 1 watt. Okay, when we go to the market, when we buy certain appliances, the power of the appliance is written over there. 10 watts, 1 watt, okay, 50 watts, right? So energy that is used by a source of 1 watt in 1 hour, that is called watt hour, WH. And what is the relation to joule? That is very important. 1 watt hour is 3600 joule. And what you studied in 8th standard, kilowatt hour. We used to do all the sums when we used to calculate electrical energy. We used to calculate everything in kilowatt hour, right? So energy spent by a source, okay, of power 1 kilowatt hour. 1 kilowatt in 1 hour, okay, is called kilowatt hour. And we all know the relationship also between kilowatt hour and joule. 1 kilowatt hour equal to 3.6 into 10 raised to 6 joules, right? So this is the relate. So these are 2 units of energy that we saw. One was watt hour. Second one, this is the commercial unit of energy. Watt hour is not the commercial unit. Kilowatt hour is the commercial unit of energy, right? And what is the commercial unit of energy? The unit for which we pay. Our electricity is always calculated. The energy, electrical energy spent is always calculated in this unit, kilowatt hour, kWh. It is the commercial unit of energy. Okay, the next calorie, that is again another unit. Which usually which energy do you measure in calorie? Heat energy. Okay, whenever you want to measure heat energy, then you measure it in calories. And then there is one more, electron volt. Okay, atomic particles. You all are studying chemistry, you all know that they also have energy, right? So energy of atomic particles is a very small number, so you measure it in electron volts. So when you say it is 5 electron volts or 10 electron volts, how is it related to joule? So 1 electron volt is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 joule. All these definitions and this relation you have to learn. Where is it given? Children, page 25, units of energy, right? So please tick the units of energy. Watt hour, then kilowatt hour, electron volt, calorie, and so on, right? And very important, on the left hand side, the difference between work and power. Okay, very important. What is the difference between work and what is the work and power? There is one difference over here, and there is one more difference. No, only one difference. Here on the next this side, between energy and power. Work and power and energy and power. Both the things at least learn 2 points. Okay, right? 2 points if you learn, more than enough, it can be asked for 2 marks. And units of energy, watt hour, kilowatt hour, electron volt, and calorie. These 4 units of energy you should know, right? So here, this chapter is completed.